Hi guys. Hey, thanks for coming out to watch this. Hey, I've been getting a lot of questions. I don't think I can answer them all. I'm pretty sure I can't. But what I did do is because there's a lot of really fun questions out there. So I deal with Chinese medicine. What I did is I went out there and I'm just grabbing groups and I'm putting them into groups that make sense from a Chinese medical perspective. And I'm going to answer just a group at a time. So what I did this time is there's a lot of questions that I got on the stomach and spleen channel in Chinese medicine. So, in Chinese medicine, there's 12 meridians, 6 of them are yin, 6 of them are yang, and one yin meridian is associated with one yang meridian. So for this presentation, the spleen is the yin meridian and it's associated with the stomach meridian, which is the yang meridian. So I went out, grabbed some of these questions dealing with stomach and spleen, and let's look at them, okay? Okay, here's a medical disclaimer, you guys. This is just providing information and it's not to be treated as advice, and it's provided without any warranties or expressed or implied, due to the limited nature of communication. These were just questions that were thrown out there that, were what if kind of questions. Due to that limited nature of communication, the information you receive is going to be incomplete and could be misleading. So you shouldn't just rely on this without further independent confirmation from your doctor or your healthcare provider. And make sure if you're suffering any medical condition, consult your doctor or your healthcare providers. And you should never delay seeking medical advice, disregard medical advice, or discontinue medical treatment because of information presented here. Okay, you guys, you got it. Let's get started. Let's get to the fun stuff. Okay, so the first question I got was, what is the relationship between acidity and size? And I'm guessing that you're asking me about pH acidity and what's the relationship between the bigger numbers and the smaller numbers? The pH scale goes from 0 to 14, and the smaller numbers are acidic, and the larger numbers are alkaline. So acidity, small numbers, and alkaline big numbers. And they have 7 as neutral. So below 7, they're saying is acidic, over 7 is alkaline. I hope that's what you're asking. Okay, let's go to the next question. How do you lower stomach acid? This is a really good question. So I'm going to start out with that in general, your stomach has a pH of 2, which means it's super acidic. If you think the scale is 0 to 14, it's 0, 1, 2. It's very acidic. And what I'm guessing that you're asking me is you're probably saying, I've got heartburn, I've got burning stomach, or I've some sort of horrible pain, indigestion. And I'm guessing that's because I have too much acid in my stomach, and how do I deal with that? And what I'm going to tell you is it's not that you have too much acid in your stomach, it's that, your stomach lining is inflamed. And there's 2 videos that I think you might want to look at. One I just published on food sensitivities, because the most common reason today that our stomach gets inflamed seems to be that there's a lot of foods out there that we're eating that, depending on who it is, you're sensitive to them. And I can tell you what blew me away is when I did my own food sensitivity test, I was like, what the heck? 70% of the food I was eating, I was sensitive to. I mean, what's wrong with me? But, you'd think you'd be able to tell that. But, I think we just eat this stuff so much that we just don't. And then the other video, I'll have a link below on that too, is on the Breville juicer. And I should do more of these juicing ones. But I put together a juice there and I explain all the vegetables that are being used in that juice and how they relate from a Chinese medical perspective to helping you reduce acid reflux and strengthen the stomach and cool that stomach off so that you don't have that acid indigestion. So check those two videos out. I think you might like them. And, leave a comment on those videos. Tell me how they worked for you. Okay, let's see here. How can an inflamed and irritated stomach lining be soothed? Okay, so before we get to that one, I'm going to go to this next one because the same person asked both these questions. How long does it take for the stomach to recover after severe food poisoning, which caused cramping and inflammation in the stomach lining? Yeah, no kidding, huh? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for you. That is the absolute worst. And I can say that from experience because I've been food poisoned way too many times. And I never get the mild food poisoning. If I'm going to get food poisoning, I am barfing and diarrhea for like 18 hours. So I'm super motivated not to get food poison. But let me tell you, if you ever do get food poison in the future, make sure you know a Chinese medical provider because we actually have formulas that can stop that dead in its tracks so you don't end up in the bathroom uh, vomiting and with diarrhea for the next day. So that would be my first suggestion. But here's my second thing. Okay, so when you get food poison, you're right. It causes severe irritation to the stomach lining, and what I would what I so here's the good news. The stomach is the quickest guy to regenerate. So 2 days for the skin cells in the stomach lining to regenerate. But for those few days, the first couple days after being food poisoned, your stomach is so inflamed that there's pretty much nothing you can eat, right? But what you can eat is ice cream. And here's the thing about ice cream is ice cream in Chinese medicine is considered damp producing. So you know when you think of damp, think about a muffler. It muffles expressions. So it muffles the expression in the body. And the most common way you can notice damp is like if you wake up in the morning and you're super groggy, that is the sensation of damp in the body. And a lot of people will drink coffee to try and shake off the cobwebs. The cobwebs is the sensation of damp, but in the stomach, after being food poisoned, what you want to do is muffle that expression of pain and irritation and inflammation. And so eating something that's damp producing and that is mild on the stomach is the best option. So milk is considered bland. And so bland foods are tonifying to the stomach. The other thing is sugars in Chinese medicine is the flavor of the stomach. So if you eat sweet things after food poisoning, you find that you can eat those fairly easily. You can't do chocolate because yeah, I think chocolate is probably the caffeine in it, and you can't do things like Coke because of the caffeine in it, but you can probably do ginger ale or 7 Up. And again, that's predominantly because of the sugar in it, and there's no caffeine in those. So it's going to take a couple days for you to start being able to eat more foods. And even though I talked to the previous person about using my Breville juicer formula to help get rid of the heartburn in that's not for you. What happened to your digestion is a totally different thing, and your digestion seriously wants to be soothed and comfort. And that's where ice cream comes in. And that's where things like 7 Up and ginger ale come in. So after the first 2 days, the worst of it will be over. Your eating will slowly come back. By the end of the week, you should be pretty much okay. Okay, so sorry. So sorry about that food poisoning thing, and I hope you're feeling better. Let's look. Oh, this is a great one. Okay, here's another person. Okay, this is in women's health. And what does Jello type discharge mean? Well, in Chinese medicine, that is due to spleen deficiency and damp. So, so let me tell you a little bit about spleen deficiency. So when you get spleen deficiency, there's a couple things that can happen. You know, it really depends on the person, but you might find that you've been thinking if you're in school, that one of the most common times to experience this is after finals, where you've been thinking way too much, and or you might find that you've been pushing yourself really hard and you're tired, or you might have some weaknesses in your digestion and have to be very careful about how you eat your foods. You might be prone to nervousness or anxiety. These are kind of spleen pathology things, and everybody expresses spleen deficiency in different ways. And this is just one way that it happens. Now, what I would do is I would really suggest that you talk to an acupuncturist near you who studied herbs, because you could actually get a formula for this that would actually strengthen you and actually make you stronger than you are right now. And especially if you're in school, it would really help you get more focused and be able to uh, study better and just not feel so exhausted and overwhelmed. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Now, there's actually formulas that we use on this all the time, but it's not just going to be spleen. It's going to be like spleen married with heart, or spleen married with liver, or spleen married with kidney, and it's a different formula for every one of them. I'm guessing that you're going to probably be spleen heart because that's the most common, but you know, chat with the alternative, well, chat with a Chinese medical provider who studied herbs, and you're going to find there's some great formulas out there and that you can get a lot stronger fairly quickly. Here's my next question. Is a sweet potato an anti-inflammatory? And what a great question. So a sweet potato in Chinese medicine is a tonifying food. And so what that means is it helps strengthen a channel, and it actually helps strengthen the spleen and the kidney channel. And so if your stomach is prone to upset, or you're sensitive with foods, I bet you can eat the sweet potato and it doesn't cause any problems, and it actually makes your stomach feel better. And because it does, I can see why you would call it an anti-inflammatory. Really, from a medical perspective, it's a tonifying food. And so if you have a weakness in the spleen or stomach channel, this will help strengthen it. And so that's where it becomes a really good food. Probably not so much the sweet potato fries because they're deep fried, but yeah, this is a really tonifying food, and it's a great one to eat all the time. Okay, you guys, I hope that helped with some of your questions. Thanks for watching. And here's some other ways you can engage with me. I'll put the links below. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and ask questions on the videos out there, or you can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Okay, thanks a lot, you guys. Take care. I hope you have a great day.